It's your boy Schwab God. You know the vibes. It's the God Vlogs. It's going down another Tuesday, and we here. I thought you already knew. I'm gonna share this thing and get this party started right. You know. Shouts out to everybody. Peace to the planet. If you haven't already, I need you to go to that YouTube channel, Forever95. You know what? Scratch that. What I want you to do is go to Google and just Google Forever95. Ooh, yes, we are at that place in life where you can just Google Forever 95 and we can get this thing going, get it going right. But I need you to go to YouTube. In the search bar, put in Forever 95. Our YouTube channel is gonna pop up, and when that YouTube channel pops up, what I need you to do is subscribe. You guys, please subscribe. And any videos that you haven't watched, go back on the YouTube, peep out those videos, see what you like, see what you don't like, comment, like, subscribe. Let us know what you're into, what you're not into, and we'll go from there. If you already know, then you know I'm out here tagging some people. You know the game. I'm out here tagging everybody, getting everybody in tune. If you can, please hit that share button on this live. So this way we can go ahead and get everybody in tune and we can go ahead and get to the information. Tonight, we're doing communication 101. We're doing communication 101. Communication is very, very important in today's time. It's 2021. And without communication, you probably won't get anywhere fast, mainly because everything is happening on a digital level, right? So you have to be able to have a clear communication skill set to be able to let people know what you're trying to get done, what you're trying to do, and how you're trying to get it done. So it's very important to be in tune with communication, how communication works, and how to communicate with people effectively. You know what I'm saying? So tonight's show is Communication 101. You already know. It's your boy Swavgar. We about to get the show started right now. I'm just tagging a couple folks. Boom, boom, boom. You already know. Shouts to everybody that came through the live. Mikey, I see you in the live. Mom Dukes, I see you in the live. You already know. It's your boy Swavgar. Make sure y'all hit that share button. Please, 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 please hit that share button, y'all. We want to get the information out. More so than likes, I prefer that you guys hit that share button. The share button is important because the share button gets the information out to anybody who wasn't here and didn't get a chance to peep the live. You know what I mean? So make sure you hit that share button before anything. And we about to go ahead and get into it. So communication 101. I'm inviting a couple more people and we're gonna go ahead and get it started. Shouts to everybody that was in the live early. Like I said, please go to the YouTube channel Forever 95, or you can Google Forever 95. But we're gonna break down communication this evening. So let's get into it. So first off, you know how I do it, how I like to do it here. We like to define the actual topic that we're gonna break down before we get to breaking it down. So communication is the imparting or exchange of information or news. Communication means or sending or receiving information, such as phone lines or computers. So I see nothing, and I think it's important to point this out. I see nothing here under the definition of communication that outlines understanding, them doing what you want them to do. So I think it's important for us not to misplace when we want to say someone is miscommunicating with us or isn't communicating because they're not understanding what we're saying. Communication is simply the imparting or exchange of information. So if you guys simply exchange information, you communicate, right? I don't know. That's what we're going to break down tonight. You already know it's your boy Suave God, and I'd like to welcome you to the God Vlogs. You know what I'm saying? It's going down. So tonight, we're breaking down communication, and boom, hold on. Let me tag a couple more folks. Sorry, I got to get those day ones in. Got to make sure I let them know I'm here. Hold on. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, cool. Cool. All right, my fault, y'all. I had to hit that tag a couple times, get a couple people involved. All right, let's get the show rocking. So, communication. There's several different forms or types of communication. The first being verbal communication. Verbal communication occurs when we engage in speaking with others. It can be face to face, over the telephone, via Skype or Zoom. Some verbal engagements are informal, such as chatting with a friend over coffee in the office, while others can be formal, such as a scheduled meeting. Regardless of the type, it is not just about the words. It's also about the caliber and complexity of those words. How we string those words together to create an overarching message, as well as pitch, tone, and cadence are used while speaking. And when occurring face to face, while the words are important, they can't be separated from nonverbal communication. That's probably one of the biggest pieces here. And that's what we're going to go right into. Nonverbal communication. Many times than not, you hear the phrase, you got two ears and one mouth. Because you should listen twice as much as you talk. And that's true. But the kicker to that is you got two eyes as well. So to me, by default, you should be watching and paying attention twice as much as you talk as well. So if I'm watching and paying attention twice as much, that means that nonverbal communication actually may mean more than verbal communication. So let's get into nonverbal communication. What we do while we speak often says more than the actual words. Nonverbal communication includes facial expressions, posture, eye contact, hand movements, and touch. For example, if you're engaged in a conversation with your boss about a cost-saving idea, it's important to pay attention to both their words and their nonverbal communication. Your boss might be in agreement with your idea verbally, but their nonverbal cues, avoiding eye contact, sighing, a scrunched up face, etc., indicate something different. This is important. When you're in business dealings, when you're in a position where you're negotiating, the nonverbal communication is going to give you more answers to your questions than verbal communication. And in the beginning, being able to decipher whether this is positive nonverbal communication or whether it's positive verbal communication is a little tough in the beginning. But you'll start to notice cues when things change. So what I mean is when a client is acting one way when they seem happy, in the beginning, you may not realize that's actually them being a little concerned, right? But after being with this client, this is why building relationships is so important. After building a relationship with this client after so much time, you'll be able to dictate and understand their true cues. And a lot of times, more times than not, the cues that we believe to be the first cues are not, because those cues are usually based verbally. We hear them saying, yes, I like this. Oh, this sounds good. So you become excited. Okay, the client is digging this. Everything is going good. Okay, great. But in reality, as we just mentioned, their nonverbal communication is saying otherwise. They're not making eye contact with you. You hear a lot of sighs. Their face is a little scrunched up. Even though they're telling you everything to them sounds great. These are the cues that you should pay a little bit more attention to versus what's coming out of a client's mouth. We also have written communication. Whether it's an email, a memo, a report, a Facebook post, a tweet, a contract, etc., all forms of written communication have the same goal: to disseminate information in a clear and concise manner. Though that objective is not often achieved, in fact, poor writing skills often lead to confusion and embarrassment, and even potential legal jeopardy. One thing to remember about written communication, especially in the digital age, is the message lives on, perhaps in perpetuity. Thus, there are two things to remember. First, write well. Poorly constructed sentenences and careless errors make you look bad. And second, ensure the content of the message is something you want to promote or be associated with for the long term. Now, this goes out to all my creatives because the latter of written communication is very important to bear in mind, right? Ensure the content of the message is something you want to promote or be associated with for the long haul. So today, there may be very little hype about what you got going on. There may be very little supporters of what you got going on, right? And that could be to your own doing, or that could be lack of support. But the point is, one day, if you are truly a great creative, the floodgates will open. One day, it'll all happen, and you got to be ready. Why is that? Or what does that mean, Dave? It means your message from the videos, the content that you created from day one has to stand the test of time until you're doing your 100,000th video getting 1,000,000 views. Because that's what generally we see happen with people who become uber successful, right? We see a lot of the crimes that they're being accused of or put on trial for are crimes of yesteryear, crimes that happened 20, 30, 40 years ago. But there's two courts in the world. There's the criminal court and the court of opinion. Sometimes being found guilty in the court of public opinion could be more detrimental than being found guilty in an actual criminal court. So this is why we have to pay close attention and be mindful of the content that we're putting out today in reference for tomorrow. You know, we may feel or be going through an emotional place today and then wake up tomorrow and be like, hey, you know, yesterday I was a little happy. Yesterday I was a little upset. And this is why my post may have leaned left or right. But today I'm feeling pretty calm, cool, collected. So my post is straight down the middle. Sometimes when you do that or become that kind of content creator, you may lose a little bit of credibility, to be honest, because people may worry that your content isn't necessarily based in truth or fact and more so based in your opinion. Now, hey, some people come for that content. If your demographic is people that are searching and solely there for your opinion, like take for instance Joe Budden's podcast. Big shouts out to Joe Budden podcast, fire. The people who watch Joe Budden's podcast, the core fans, are truly there for Joe Budden's opinion, right? Which is not a bad thing. Joe Budden is a successful MC, successful mediaologist, as Queen's Flip would say. Joe Budden is successful in his field. So for anyone to look to him for advice or a blueprint for how to move would not be incorrect. So let's move on to the next form of communication. Listening. The act of listening does not often make its way onto the list of types of communication. Active listening, however, is perhaps one of the most important types of communication because if we cannot listen to the person sitting across from us, we cannot effectively engage with them. Think about a negotiation. Part of the process is to assess what the opposition wants and needs. Without listening, it is impossible to assess this, which makes it difficult to achieve a win or an outcome. Again, breaking down these communication skills, these rules and lessons apply to relationships, whether business or friendly. But these rules, I would say, should be held in higher regard in a business sense. Because again, whenever communicating, there's a goal that you're trying to reach. In business, reaching that goal can mean can mean a difference between you making enough to sustain your livelihood, or it can mean a difference between you living a life subpar than what you deserve. To me, that weighs a little bit more than friendly relationships where I may have to just deal with being a little sad because me and a friend had a disagreement. I would much rather ensure my business dealings are being communicated successfully because, again, that ensures my livelihood. So as far as the listening tip, I think that should be applied to business for sure, no question. So the next type of communication, visual communication. We are a visual society. Think about it. Televisions are running 24/7. Facebook is visual with memes, videos, images, etc. Instagram is an image-only platform. Think about that. Instagram is an image-only platform. So think about how powerful images are, and ingesting these images into your psyche must be if Instagram can survive and be one of the greatest and highest user-rated apps, and they're only image-based. Okay? So Instagram is an image-only platform, and advertisers use imagery to sell products and, worse, ideas. Think about a personal perspective. The images we post on social media are meant to convey meaning, to communicate a message. In some cases, that message might be, look at me. I'm in Taiwan. I just won a Grammy. Others are carefully curated to tug on heartstrings. Example, injured animals, crying children, those type of situations. We communicate continually throughout each and every day. We do it without thinking. We operate on communication autopilot. And this is why verbal communication is so important, because it speaks to the point that we operate on communication autopilot. So you yourself, when you're in negotiations and business dealings, want to be very mindful of your body language, because subconsciously you can find yourself making certain gestures, movements, certain things that you do when you're stressed or happy that may give away your position when you're in the middle of negotiations. So you want to be mindful of your body language. In negotiations, you never want to let who you're negotiating with know whether you're overly excited about the way things are going or you're overly underwhelmed. In negotiations, you want to play things neutral. The goal is to get what you need. The goal is to get what you need. In negotiations, you don't want to let emotion become involved, because the emotion may lead you astray. You may go away from the actual goal in an effort to make a point or have your emotions satisfied. The goal may be left, but you could find yourself emotionally being tied to right. So if the mission is not clear and the goal is unfocused, you will find yourself chasing right when the actual goal is left. So we just want to be clear on communicating in negotiation settings and business settings in an effort to make sure that we're chasing the correct goal at all times. Because again, at all times, communication is happening, whether verbal, nonverbal, communication is happening all the time. So we're going to get deeper into the types of communication, right? Have you ever considered, look at this dog. This dog is communicating to me that he wants some love. All right, here, get some love. You want some love? You want some love, doggy? You want some love? All right, now go. 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 Look. See? He's not listening to my communications of go. Zulu. Move. All right. If you haven't guessed it already, we're constantly communicating every moment throughout various forms, channels, gestures, and expressions, all as a natural expression of ourselves. But while it's completely voluntary, our communication is not always conscious. That's deep. Although completely voluntary, our communication is not always conscious. We sometimes communicate without clear awareness, leading to misleading or even conflicting expressions of ourselves. And there lies the key to communication: awareness. If we stay constantly aware of the subtle communication signals we send out every moment, we can align this to reflect what we want to express. Our communication is no longer accidental, it's thoroughly incidental. It's getting deep. Pay attention. So let us take a step back and ask you, are you aware that you're communicating every moment with yourself, with others, with nature? You have a magnetic signal that pulses out of your body. Research and science has already proven that emotions are electrical charges. Happiness, sadness, all these different frequencies create electrical charges in your brain that thus affect your magnetic field, which is around your body. So, with that, you are communicating with nature, with yourself, and with others at all times. The magnetic field around you is what people like to call vibes or aura. I didn't like his aura. I didn't like the vibes about that guy. That's because your magnetic fields were working at a different frequency. So every time you guys come into contact with each other, it seems as though there's some kind of confusion. It seems as though there's some kind of disconnect. If you plug a plug that's 220 watts into an outlet that's 100 watts, there will be a disconnect. This is what we're talking about. And finally, you are constantly communicating what you want to communicate in the way you want to do it. Often, the answers we receive to these thought-provoking questions is mixed, trending towards unsure, no. Though through this post, we'll address this dilemma. We throw light on the various types of communication and their multi-dimensional expressions, so you can develop super keen awareness around your communication. Communicating every moment? How is this even possible? It's not like I have my mouth open every moment. We communicate not just verbally, but non-verbally, even informally. The entire gamut of various types of communication channels and expression we enjoy is outlined, as we can see here. There are at least 6 different distinct types of communication: nonverbal, verbal oral face-to-face, verbal oral distance, verbal written, verbal and informal, formal and informal types of communication. Add this to the boundless opportunities the internet superhighway offers, and you have an absolute goldmine of communication possibilities. In successive sections of this post, we highlight the finer nuances of these distinct expressions so you can communicate in conscious focus and be mightily effective. Mr. Marcus, I see you in the live. Pachungo, I see you in the live. Conducted through a predetermined channel, for instance, a large number of your interactions within your profession, financial communication, which is from you to your bank, creditors, debtors, and legal expressions are examples of formal communication. More time-consuming than non-formal communications, as it follows a particular communication protocol. Even in cases of oral expressions in meetings, seminars, it is often backed by written communication that can provide documentation, evidence of the oral conversation. The written communication can be as simple as minutes of a meeting to as complex as a detailed recording. Consider a reliable source of information. So when you receive a legal notice from your bank, you better take notice of it. Formal communication forms the core of our professional lives. Though not all professional communications are formal. Hence, becoming an expert in this type of communication is central to professional advancement and success. Begin by clarifying the purpose of your communication. Whether you use oral or written expression, always follow a well-defined structure that can be easily understood by others. Keep your tone open, professional, and friendly. End by reiterating what you expect to cause through this communication. Clarification on your stance, answers to questions, a call to action. Also clarify any constraints that apply to this communication, like confidentiality, a time limit for response, etc. Finally, thank your audience for listening, right? Let's get into oral communication, face to face, when you're right here, that interview communication levels, right? Miss Caprice, I see you in the live. Salute. Hit that share button, y'all. Face-to-face communication is the most recognized type of communication. Here, what you express comes directly from what you speak. Again, this can be formal or informal. When your friends and family, with your friends and family, in a formal meeting, a seminar, at work, with your colleagues or boss, within your community, during professional presentation. These are all situations where oral communication happens. Oral communication gets better with practice. The more you practice with awareness, the more control you will have over your oral expressions. It's vibrantly alive. This means that despite all past rehearsals, oral communication offers you a present moment opportunity to tune, revise, revoke, or fix what you express. It is hence the most powerful type of communication. You can work for or against you with oral communication. Engage your audience more than other types of communication. The listener, whoever your audience might be, often expects to speak back to you with oral communication. Enabling two-way communication more will help you succeed in negotiations or simple communication between family, friends, whatever the case may be. For superior face-to-face communication, always meet the eyes of your audience with confidence, conviction, and openness. Practice before in a mirror to perfect your tone and expression so they suit the message you're trying to convey. They two-facet often convey more than your words do. Your facial expressions convey more than your words do. Practice using role play. This means that even when you rehearse before a mirror, candidly ask yourself, am I ready to receive this message with this tone and expression? If you aren't convinced, your audience won't be convinced either. So practice, practice, practice again until you get it right. Conscientiously engage your audience's participation. This is the strength of this type of communication. So never let your oral expression be one of a rant to yourself. You can do this by asking questions, getting their opinion, encouraging expression of new ideas. Finally, become an active listener. An active oral communicator not only speaks, but also actively listens to his audience. Let's break down oral communication. Distance, or oral communication, has made the world a smaller and more accessible place. What do we mean? Mobile phones, voice over IP, video conferencing, two-way webinars are all modern expansions of distance communication. FaceTime, Zoom, all of these things are considered distant communication. And in this type of communication, your tone and voice and pace of delivery take priority over other expressions. For effective oral communication over distance, give higher priority to your listening. When you fail to listen, you will find that multiple people attempt to speak at the same time, undermining the value of this form of communication. Speaking slightly slower, you will find in face-to-face communication, This will make sure that you remain aware of the subtle nuances of your tone and the receiver has time to grasp what you convey. Yo, there's so many of my social media creatives, there's so many of my people out there creating content. Slow it down. Slow it down, right? If it's meant for your demographic to get it, they will. They're following you intently. These are the people that you want to serve. So never speed through your photos, never speed through your videos, never speed through your monologues, never speed through your spiel. Take your time. And those who are truly interested in what you have to say will follow, right? So it's very important to speak slowly because this will help the receiver to have time to grasp what you're trying to convey. Always reiterate what you understand when you listen. This type of communication misses the nonverbal signals that will be received in face-to-face communication. So paraphrase what's understood and confirm that it is indeed what the other party also meant to convey. What that simply means is when you're speaking to somebody, whether you're receiving directive or whether you're receiving information about this person, what you want to do is relay that information back. Yo, you said the favorite color was red, right? So you must love apples, right? You don't have to say, yo, I forgot what you said. Hey, did you say? No, you relay the information that was given to you in an effort to make sure and confirm that's what you got. So then we want to go to nonverbal types of communication. Very important here. Very, very important. It's your boy Suave God. It's 7:35. I want to thank any and everybody who thought enough to come through this live. This is the God Vlogs. Please take the time to go to YouTube channel Forever 9-5. You can just Google the words Forever 9-5. And who would have thought we will come up in the Google? Miss Tanya, I see you in the live. Big shouts out to the end zone. You already know that's big love. That's family. Make sure y'all go to the YouTube, just type in Forever 9-5, spell it all out, no numbers, and we'll pop right up immediately. You know what I'm saying? Please do that. And once you do that, hit the subscribe button, like, comment, share. We have a multitude of videos, all types of content from rappers to CEOs to writers, dancers. You pick it and we got it. So, peruse through the channel, pick and see a video that you like, hit the share button, hit the subscribe and share the information. So let's get into nonverbal types of communication. This type of communication is more subtle, and this is why it's important. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get our step 2 involved on this one. It's your boy Suave God. We're going to take a moment to grab our step 2. Everybody, please stay tuned. Please stay tuned. Make sure y'all hit that share button, show love, and you get love. Step 2 is involved this evening. I'm taking it pretty easy. I'm not doing too much tonight. I got the 32, not the 40, but the 32 of the Modeli. You know what I'm saying? I'm a little bit way through that, not too much. You want some Modeli, Zulu? What you doing? You over here? You trying to get the Modeli? Look at him trying to get to the Modeli. You can't have no Modeli. Get out of here, man. No, move. He want the Modeli. Nonverbal, guys. Let's pay attention to this nonverbal. Very important. This type of communication is more subtle, yet far more powerful. It includes the entire gamut of physical postures and gestures, tone, pace of voice, and attitude. In the past few decades, body language experts have revealed how the posture you adopt, your hand gestures, and other facets of your physical personality affect your communication. It is worthwhile to spend a few hours coming up to speed on basic body language gestures, just so you don't inadvertently send messages to people with your gestures and your speech. You can also use this to support your message, make it more impactful. But despite what these experts tell you, there'll be times when the body language you were meant to adapt is in complete contrast of how you feel. Like using a friendly posture when you initially feel threatened or intimidated. Hence, nonverbal communication is the most effective when three facets are constant in your communication: what you say with your words, what you share with your postures and gestures, what you feel inside you, and hence will impact the subtle messages you feel compared to share outside you. That's why it's uber important to control the thoughts and the energy that runs through you. Because by controlling the thoughts and the energy that runs through you, you give way for clear mind. You give way for clear thought. And with clear thought and clear mind, you can constantly be conscious of your body language, like Mr. Junas just let us know, which is 90% of the conversation. Communication is a powerful activity that comes to us as naturally as breathing. With a little bit of awareness, our communication can be flawless, so the other person not only receives our message, but is also open to it. This is important. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. In so many instances, our emotions dictate how we say something, and the message behind what we're saying will be misconstrued because the emotion was in the wrong place. So this is why it's important to take the time. I'm a Gemini, man. My emotions go here, then they go there, then they go there, then they come back over here. I'm just a Gemini. I can't help it. But what I'm saying is, this is why I have to be uber mindful and conscious of my thoughts, my words, and my deeds, because I don't want to send the wrong message through my body language. So somebody might be feeling me, they might be rocking with what I'm saying, but my body language is giving them a different idea. So a deal may be lost, relationships may be broken behind my body language telling the truth of how I really feel. Kiwi, I see you on the live, boy. Appreciate you, King, all the time. So we got to be conscientious, to be clear-minded and open at all times. So this way, our body language conveys that and lets people know, yo, we're clear-minded and open to conversation and communication at the present time. So I'm going to break down 6 ways to improve communication skills. What is effective communication? Being in an effective communication, excuse me, slow it down, rewind. Being an effective communicator means being able to both actively listen and clearly express yourself to those around you. Unfortunately, there's no one skill or technique that'll make you a better communicator. Effective communication requires a diverse skill set that covers both verbal and nonverbal communication cues, as well as close listening. What is effective communication and why is it important? Effective communication is vital, both in and out of the workplace, because it allows you to clearly translate your intentions and feelings into easily understandable messages. Effective communication makes you more productive as a worker and cuts down on unintended consequences that arise as a result of miscommunication. Developing an effective communication process helps you understand what others are saying and makes you a better collaborator and team member. Skills that are necessary for effective communication. Skills that are necessary for effective communication. Developing better communication habits requires several important skills that work in tandem with each other. Some of these skills involve the way you speak or your body language, and others are more emotionally based, interpersonal skills. Listening skills. Clear communication starts with active listening. If you are just focused on you, in how you are expressing yourself, chances are you're not listening or reacting to what others are bringing to the table. An effective communicator, an effective communicator uses a variety of listening skills. They pay close attention to what's being said and make others feel heard and considered. Practice empathy. Being able to understand others' feelings and the feelings of those around you is an integral part of being an effective communicator. Empathizing means both understanding and relating to someone else's feelings. Having high emotional intelligence and demonstrating an ability to emphasize builds rapport between you and others and increases your ability to communicate. Practice nonverbal communication skills. In addition to verbal messages, effective communication relies on nonverbal cues. Developing an awareness of your body language and tone, and the tone of your voice, and paying close attention to the tone of your voice will improve your messaging and presentation skills. Teamwork. The ability to actively engage in team building and constantly collaborate with coworkers is an important part of building your business communication skills. The more you build strong relationships and rapport with others in the workplace, the more effectively you'll be able to communicate with them. So, practice active listening. Effective communicators are always good listeners. Active listening means engaging with what people have to say by giving affirmative replies and asking follow-up questions. This is just to show that you're paying attention. Focus on nonverbal communication. Mastering nonverbal cues and nonverbal signals can help prevent miscommunication, and signal interest to those around you. Pay attention to your facial expressions and body language when you're speaking with someone in a professional setting. Your nonverbal cues affect the first impression you make on someone. Maintaining eye contact, limiting hand gestures, and having good posture go a long way when meeting someone for the first time. Manage your emotions. Just for the sake of clear communication and your own personal well-being, it's important to manage your emotions and express them appropriately in context. Allowing strong emotions to unnecessarily creep into a professional setting can lead to poor communication and conflict. Ask for feedback. There's no shame in asking for honest feedback on your communication skills from colleagues. Asking your peers or subordinates for their advice on improving your communication skills can help you better understand how you're coming across in your work environment. Cultivate a willingness to seek out other points of view and forge better relationships with your coworkers. Practice public speaking. This is why I do the pod. Public speaking may sound daunting, but there's no better way to develop good communication skills than by seeking out public speaking opportunities. Great communicators are able to clearly articulate their feelings, whether they're speaking to a large group or talking face to face, one on one with another person. Regularly speaking in front of a group will magnify your strengths and weaknesses and force you to develop great communication habits. Please, any creative out there that has even thought about creating a podcast, creating any type of content that they were going to give up to the public, do it. Do it, do it, and practice, 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 because with that, you will become better, 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 and happier with yourself. You see, so many times our energy is misdirected. We misdirect our energy because we're actually upset with ourselves, what we're lacking in. Hey, I should be working out more. Hey, I should be working harder. Hey, I could be more understanding. Hey, I could, whatever the I could become. Sometimes we misdirect the energy that we're. Yeah, you're very late, Miss Baker. Sometimes we misdirect the energy to people that is not meant for, to places that's not meant for, and this is why we need to develop a filter. I'm the king of tell it how it is, tell the whole truth all the time. But we have to develop a filter. Effective communicators generally have highly developed social skills and are able to modulate how they express their thoughts and feelings to those around them. Know what's appropriate to express in different interpersonal contexts. Developing a filter will help supplement other communication techniques and ensure that you maintain a certain level of decorum and avoid conflict in the workplace. Be a consummate professional, man. This is why we have to take the emotion and how we feel about a lot of things and kind of hone in on what we need from a lot of things. Cutting the grass makes me feel hot, tired, and make me feel like I don't want to do it. But the reality is the grass got to get cut. Paying for me to get the grass cut hurts my wallet. It make me feel broke. When I pay to get the grass cut, I feel broke. I have zero communication skills most of the time. Yes, Ms. Baker, agreed. Nah, the reality is you have great communication skills. You don't have patience for those that you don't feel are understanding or coming from where you're coming from. 9 times out of 10, when you believe you coming from the side of real, or you believe you coming from the righteous side of things, you're not going to leave a lot of room for people to deviate from that side. Stealing is bad. Um, Rape is bad. Adultery is bad. If someone thinks that these things are good, they're not going to be able to communicate to someone else, hey, how is this good? Because we all know this is bad. So sometimes it's not about you not having communication skills. Sometimes it just kind of levels. So someone may not be in this place or you may not be at that place. So communication is damn near impossible. But that's the beauty of what we learned tonight. Being able to decipher between these different places and situations. Again, because the name of the game is getting what you need. You can go to McDonald's and you're hungry. You can go in with an attitude because the line was long. You can have an attitude because the cashier was a little bit slower with your order than you thought they should be. But you reacting with a certain attitude is only going to lead to your food taking longer or maybe you not getting the food at all. And if the goal was getting something to eat, we got to remain focused on the goal, not on how we felt. So I walked into McDonald's and the goal was to get a cheeseburger because I'm hungry. I'm not going to focus on how I felt because the line was long. Because if I focus on how I felt because the line was long, by the time I get to the register, I'm pissed. So if the cashier says, wait, did you say cheese or no cheese? I'm already heated. Yo, I just stood on this line and you sit here asking me cheese. I just said no cheese. But the reality is, you're not mad at the cashier. You hungry. So now you're at the cashier with an attitude that wasn't even for her. But what's going to happen with you bringing that attitude to the cashier? What's the reality or the ramifications of you bringing that attitude to the cashier? Your food may be messed up. Your food is going to take longer. But the original goal was just to get something to eat. We got to remain focused on the original goal and put on the blinders to all the things that make us feel away on the way to the goal. Could that be the simple make or break between success and no success, getting diluted, confused, lost, led astray by distractions, forgetting what the goal was because you felt sad, lonely, happy, whatever you felt. So your actions then changed opposite of what the goal was. I mean, I don't know who want the story to be written. Dave had the greatest intentions. Dave had great goals, but he was dealing with a lot. He had a lot of distractions, so he didn't accomplish nothing. I don't know if that's Gucci. I don't know if I'm okay with that. So I got to communicate what my goals are. I got to communicate with those around me. Yo, do you know what your goals are? Do you know where you're going? Because if you don't know where you're going or you don't know what your goals are, I really don't need you around me. Even if that makes me feel like I'm alone. Even if that makes me feel like, yo, ain't nobody really around me. I got to remain focused on the goal. Because when the story is written and when the story is done, it's either the distractions lost or the distractions won. So choose every day to give your distractions the biggest beating that they can have. In an effort to make sure that you are constantly and consummately, with every step you take, every action you make, every thought you think, moving towards your goal. Whatever your goal might be, that's personal. Nobody's here to judge or guess whatever your goal may be. Your goal may be to eat 45 cheeseburgers every week. I'm saying don't let nobody's opinion of you eating 45 cheeseburgers every week change that goal. If that's what you want to do, if that's who you want to be. Because when it's all written and when it's all said and when it's all done and when they close the box on you, I'd be damned if anybody gonna care. If the reason why you didn't get to your goals is because you stopped because of how someone else felt about your thoughts, ideas, values, that's why you stopped. Ain't nobody gonna care about that. Yo, he wanted to be an astronaut, but the hood didn't think astronauting was cool. So he said, no, I'm not gonna be an astronaut. I don't think they're gonna respect that as much as, yo, he died trying to be an astronaut. Everybody told him that astronaut stuff was crazy. Everybody told him that astronaut stuff was no good. But he died chasing it. I think they're going to respect that more than the man who died knowing he wanted to be an astronaut, but didn't be one based on everybody else's opinion. Communicate clearly who you are and what you're about continuously. Communicate that verbally, non-verbally. Your actions, in fact, are going to speak louder than your words. So communicate through your actions who you are and what you're about. It stands for that. Don't let your emotions sway you from that. Because the only time you're going to lose is when you go off track of your goal. Okay? We all get mad when the driver in front of us makes the left when we wanted him to make a right. But the truth of the matter is, he's in his own car. The worst way to gain understanding is thinking about what you would have done. Well, if I was in the third lane, I would have put my blinker on 5 minutes ago and made my way to the left. This man was in the third lane and just went to the left. What's a waste of time? trying to understand why this man didn't put his blinker on and cut you off, or taking evasive action and you grabbing the steering wheel of your car and going into the next lane, moving away from him? What makes more sense? Because when you tell a story about why your car is wrecked and you say, yo, he put his blinker on and then immediately switched 3 lanes over and crashed into me, that's his fault. He should have never did that. If it was me, I would have put my blinker on 5 minutes earlier before I made that move. Or does the story sound better? Yo, son threw his blinker on, but you know me, I'm ready for anything. I threw the wheel the other way and dodged that. Let him hit the wall while I kept going. But if you're so busy angry about this person cutting you off, if you're so busy scared about this person cutting you off, you may not have the time to think ahead and say, oh, let me just whip my wheel this way. Easy solution, fixed, done, out of here. So I challenge you, me, all of us to communicate better what we want, what you need, what you feel. And I challenge you to get from around those that do not serve it, man. I challenge you on a business level to not let your emotions dictate the message you convey through your nonverbal gestures. Regardless of how you're feeling, be a consummate professional. At least try your best to do so, because with practice, it will come. Because it's all a communication. It's a communication to the elders, to the ancestors, that you're grateful. If you got the discipline to hold your tongue, if you got the discipline to stand tall and upright, it only tells your ancestors you appreciate what they taught you and what you learned, and you're going to stand on that. You're communicating to your ancestors, yo, salute, I'm here. You built me right. My back is strong. Let's get it. It's 8 o'clock. It's your boy Schwab God, and I'm out.